morning. This morning we're going to work on breath awareness. So this is a good practice, even if you are fairly practiced at the other pranayama techniques. It's always good to come back to practicing some breath awareness, and also to develop interoception, which is that awareness of what's going on inside our body, subtle sensations and subtle awareness. So if you'd like to lie back on your mat, taking your arms overhead, and then taking a few moments just to stretch out, stretching the arms out above your head, stretching the legs, or just having a good stretch, maybe making some sighing noises, yawning, and then you can leave the arms above your head and just take a moment to observe your body. Observe the shoulder blades as they rest upon the floor. The feeling of a slight stretch across the abdomen as you straighten out your legs. And come to noticing your breath. So we're just using the natural breath, we're not trying to change it in any way. We're just observing. And just notice whether the breath is deep or shallow. In this position, lying on the floor, it's probably quite shallow, and that's fine. And how frequent is your breath? What's the rate of your breathing? Is it fast? Is it slow? If you take a minute or two just to count your breath, you might notice that both inhale and exhale are probably about 2 seconds. That's quite natural. Doesn't matter what it is. The body is doing whatever it needs to do to adjust your breath so that it's just right for your body's needs at this moment. How even is the breath? How smooth? And notice the body's rhythm of breathing over several cycles. Sometimes does it speed up? Does it slow down? And now take your arms down by your sides. And notice how this changes your breath. So we're going to bend the knees, bring the soles of the feet to the floor, into a comfortable position. You can place the hands over the belly, tips of the fingers just meeting. Start to observe the rise of the belly with the inhale, contraction back as you exhale. Observing the soft expansion and contraction. So noticing the breath as it comes in through the nose, travels down into the upper chest, mid-chest, lower chest, finally down into the abdomen. And then the reverse happens on the exhale. In fact, you can start to deepen your breath a little bit Start to feel that expansion of the abdomen as you breathe in. And falling back as you exhale. A bit like a balloon. And again, noticing how much are you breathing in each time? How much air? Are you breathing fast or slow? How much effort is there in your breath? So now we're going to come onto our side. So bending the knees just for comfort, lying down on one side of the body. And you can take the upper arm up above the head. And you can support the head, if you like, on a block or a cushion. And the lower arm can come to the opposite side of the rib cage. So the hand is firmly over the ribs. So now notice your breath. Notice that the breath is not able to flow into the rib cage on the side that's nearest to the floor. We kind of block that off. And the air can flow very easily into this top rib. So take some deep breaths and try to open up these ribs. You can feel the ribs lifting, moving apart as you inhale. And dropping back as you exhale. And you can roll over onto the other side, try that on the other side as well. Just notice if there's any difference. To try and explore the whole of this side of the rib cage. See if you can send the breath into different areas that you haven't noticed before. Keeping it gentle and soft. Maybe you can feel the breath moving round into the back of the body as well, because the breath does move at the back here too. Often we're not conscious of it. So now we're going to roll over onto our front. So you can take the forehead to the floor and take your arms by your sides and have the palms facing down onto the floor. So from here you might notice that the breath can't travel into the front of the body so much because we're forcing it down onto the floor. So the breath now has to flow into the back of the body. See if you can feel that. See if you can feel the breath flowing into the back, lifting the ribs away, same as they did at the side. Spend a few moments seeing how that feels. And if you consciously breathe a little bit deeper, you might be able to send the breath a little bit more into those areas. And just notice how that feels. And then bring the hands so they're under the shoulders. Forehead on the floor. We're going to practice Cobra Pose. So as we inhale, we're just going to lift the torso and the head, still looking down towards the floor. And exhale down. Inhale. As you inhale, come up. See if you can feel the abdomen pressing against the floor. Now, there's a little bit more space in the upper chest for the breath to come into. And just notice those sensations. How does it feel? How is the breath? How much effort are you having to put in to breathe in this position? Is the breath still smooth and even? What's the balance between the inhale and the exhale? Has it changed? And just do one more. And then we're going to push ourselves up onto hands and knees. And you can notice now that there's more space in the front of the body. There's space for the abdomen to expand. Not so much space in the top of the chest, however, because of the hands on the floor. We're restricting the breath moving into that area a little bit. And just notice again how much effort, how smooth, and where in the body is the breath going? What's moving with the breath? And from here we're going to tuck the toes under and lift up into down-facing dog. You can keep the knees bent if you need to. And allow the abdomen to drop down towards the floor as you inhale. As you exhale, draw the abdomen back. And again, in this position, notice the balance between inhale and exhale. Does the inhale or the exhale feel the easiest? And just take a couple more breaths. And then we'll come back to either sitting back on the heels, sitting on the chair. If it's uncomfortable for you sitting on your heels, you can place one or two blocks underneath the buttocks and sit like this. Whatever position you choose, if you come back to a tall spine, feeling as if you're growing up tall through to the crown of the head, dropping the shoulders off the spine, tucking the chin in slightly and retracting the jaw. And again noticing how that's changed your breathing pattern. If you like, you can place your hands on the belly. So there's no judgment, we're just observing and we're developing the skill of observation. You might notice there's a little bit of activation of the musculature around the core here when we're in this position, helping to hold you upright. So that does inhibit the breath coming down into the abdomen a little bit. And You can maybe place one hand on the top of the chest, keeping one hand on the abdomen. Noticing the flow of the breath from the nostrils down into the top of the chest and then down to the abdomen. And the opposite happens on the exhale. How soft is the breath? How much effort? Just noticing any sensations inside the body, any thoughts that might arise. Just let them come and go. And we'll finish with 3 ohms. Taking a deep breath. Thank you.